Okay, so I have to wear my glasses because as the glasses wearer, I can't see clearly without it. But if you get to want to see how I look without my glasses, so this is my face. I didn't actually put powder, but let's not go there. I like my face shiny. So let's go there. I'm not a makeup person, so I just do once in a while. So before some people think that I'm so weird because I like to be quote, like to be very natural with how I look. So I tend to really post a lot of pictures with my bare face, and I like it like that, but sometimes I just want to like look a little bit more different. So I need to wear these glasses to see myself. So let's go straight to what I'm talking about. So today I'm going to talk about Joseph, and I'm going to talk about being in the dungeon. The last video I made was about trusting the process, and it's amazing that God is so good. He leads us different ways in our lives, and he confirms his word. Like, this is what makes God amazing. Like, God always confirms his word. God does not just come up with something new. Whatever God has said, he's always saying, like the word of God said, and God calls himself I am that I am, the who was, who is, and who is to come. So God is always saying his words every time in every season. Why am I saying this? Because the story I'm going to share, we all know about it, but there's an amazing thing God laid upon my heart while I went through this story again, and I'm going to share it with you. And if you are in that position right now, this is going to be a word to encourage you, just like God is encouraging me. Now, when we look at the book of Genesis chapter 37, this is where the story and the life of Joseph begins, where he begins to have his dream. And Joseph, being an innocent young lad, 17 now, may not actually look innocent, but I believe there are still some innocent people. When I mean innocent, people who are actually not very, like, they have not been filled with a lot of evil or negative, or like they have not been crazed by what is crazing everyone. So Joseph was someone who was still very innocent in his heart, and if the time he felt he was sharing his dream, he just felt that, wow, this I'm having is like great. It was not out of malice. Joseph shared his dream because he felt this was something great, and he felt that, oh, if these guys could see how excited I am, they would like share my joy. But the thing was that Joseph at this point was old enough to be the children, or like say his brothers were old enough to be his father. Like, they were quite older than Joseph. And imagine somebody like, imagine if you have a toddler or your baby, or imagine if you're a very little brother, or imagine somebody quite lower than you telling you, I'm going to be your boss in the future. You just imagine how annoying that could be. But because these men were not spiritual, they took so much offense. And also the fact that Joseph was an upright boy. Right from when he was a teenager, he was very upright. So people feel that probably this men were so angry that their father preferred Joseph. For crying out loud, they had their own children. But I believe, due to the fact that Joseph was an upright man, and you know, when someone is upright, when somebody is living the right life and you are not, there's this kind of consciousness, this guilty consciousness that comes upon you or wherever that person is. Or if you're the one living the right life and someone is like behaving very hostile towards you, your right life is judging their life. It's not because you want to judge them, but because you are living the right life, judging them. So I believe this was how these men felt around Joseph, because Joseph was living the right life, and they felt judged by Joseph's character, which was none of Joseph's fault. So now we move to the chapter. We move to chapter 30. That same 37, they sold their brother, and when they sold their brother, these young men, they sold their brother, and they washed their hands, like, so the troublemaker. So yeah, my life is better now. Pardon me, because I'm using a phone camera. I don't really have a professional camera yet, so it's kind of, I had to rearrange it. So as I was saying, so they saw their brother and washed up their hands, like, you know, when evil men do what they do like nothing happened. Everybody continued their life, that is even their father. And then this young man at the age of 17, sold off by his own blood, sent to Egypt. You can imagine what it felt like to be betrayed by your own family. Like, If any of you have experienced that, that must be a horrible experience, because your family is like the closest circuit to you, and if your family can betray you, it's like who else in the world wouldn't betray you. For some of us that have not really experienced that, it's just like something in our imagination that we know is like feels unbelievable. And then Joseph goes to Potiphar's house and he continues in his righteous lifestyle. Joseph continues. So it just tells you that the way you are living now is a blueprint of how your life is going to continue to be if you are not careful. Like, for example, when I mean not careful, like if it's not in the right way, if you are a teenager now, if you are a youth now, and your life is not set right before God, if you don't take your time to stop, there's no guarantee that you're going to change in the future. And if God puts you, like for example now, Joseph was put in such a big position to the point that Potiphar had to leave everything except his wife. And I'm thinking people concentrate on the fact that Joseph refused to sleep with Potiphar's wife, but we forget that Joseph was a fine looking man. Of course, his ancestors were fine. His wife, his mother too, was a very pretty lady. But Joseph was put in charge of everything, meaning the maids. There were certainly a lot of people there, a lot of females there, pretty ladies. But Joseph kept his upright life. It was not just because Potiphar's wife. Was Joseph's life. It was not just Potiphar's wife. I'm sure there were other instances, but probably those people did not like have the amount of power or the power that Potiphar's wife had, which she manipulated and used. Joseph kept his life. So if as a young man and as a young lady, you have not come to a point to make your standards and know what are your boundaries now that God has put you in a place where it seems that you have the freedom, there is no guarantee that when God finally gives you what you desired, that you are going to handle it. Joseph knew that um, Potiphar's house was not the final bus stop, but his heart was not like he didn't know that this is how things were going to go for him. So, after all his hard work in the Potiphar's house, he gets thrown into the prison. And we go to chapter 39, the ending, verse 23, and like he has favor, he's blessed, the same blessing follows him to the prison. Then we go to 40, where Joseph interprets the dreams for the two servants of Pharaoh. And then we go to where he interprets and tells Reuben was like, please don't forget me. But you go to 23 and it says, yet the chief butler remembered Joseph but forgot him. Now there are times when the word and promise of God do not look like they are coming to pass. You are like in that dungeon. The wait is so long. You are very sure that God gave you this word. God has confirmed it. God has been speaking. But then it's just like the word of God is not coming true. You could imagine the agony and the pain that Joseph went through throughout this process, the betrayal, the manipulation, the forgetting, and everything, like the sorrow. But still, yet, Joseph held on to God. And like a flash, all of a sudden, in 41 verse 16, Joseph is brought chain, shield, put gold on. It happens in a flash. And then when you go to 42 verse 7 and verse 6 and 7, his brothers bowed down before him without even knowing what they were doing. The same person they fought with the whole of their lives and tried to terminate his destiny, they bow down before him without knowing. So I'm going to stop here. This place really ministered to me that the word of the Lord is true, and like I said, in the process, what the process is for a reason. The dungeon is for a reason. The Lord knows what He's doing. But what is important is that you need to come to that place of knowing why you are where you are, and why should you know why where you are. It will help you to continue in the Lord. Like I said in the previous video, trust in the process. You need to like trust that process God is, but you need to know the reason why people are in your life, the situations. Ask God for direction, ask God for His grace. God is very merciful. I'm still on that walk on my faith, have not gotten to where I'm still learning, but I believe that the Lord puts this in my heart to share, because I believe it's going to help and going to encourage others to know that they are not alone. So just as Joseph overcame, the Lord is going to help us to overcome. in Jesus' name. So I believe this passage helps you, and I pray that when you go by the word of God and you read, ask for the Lord to give you deeper understanding. I'm sure someone else is going to bring something deeper from what I've said, but this is where I'm going to stop. So thank you very much, and yeah, I want my dress in a very funny way just to change the fashion. So thank you very much. So I stop it here. God bless, and till next time I make a video, and then pray for me that I get a camera and do something better with my videos. So God bless. Have a very nice time.